Okay, so just for the rec, the proposition on the table is abortion is immoral. That's indexed to most of them, and it'll be immediate logic versus bt3 and low tier dean. So let's just get right into it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay out a couple premises and a conclusion. So, premise one's just gonna be if abortion prevents the fetus from actualizing its accordance with goodness, then it's prima facie wrong. And then modus ponens, abortion's prima facie wrong.
Okay. You
Is
want to
that
give a little
it?
bit of more detail?
Yeah, what do you mean by
Uh,
goodness? I
by
guess first.
goodness, yeah, by goodness, all I mean there is God.
God.
Yeah.
Okay. BT3, do you want to get into it?
Yeah, so you're saying that like aborting a fetus is depriving it from its relationship with God, or
I
can
wouldn't.
you rephrase?
I don't know that I would say deprive, but rather taking an action which is preventing it from reaching goodness. I think we can probably agree that goodness is good with respect to semantics of the word good. And so to say
Well,
you're
wait,
doing
if you're using God as a placeholder for goodness and vice versa, wouldn't abortion be doing the exact opposite? Wouldn't it be bringing the child closer to God or the fetus closer to God?
That's not how that works.
no, because what I said is actualizing its accordance with goodness, and to be in accordance with is to have relations to. And so all we're saying there is
Me
to
too.
achieve
Likes me too.
what?
Okay, so when you say it prohibits accordance with goodness, like, what exactly do you mean there? Do you just mean are you, like, speaking strictly theological? Or,
No,
because
no,
that
no,
seems like the sort
just
of language you'd be sympathetic with.
no. We're not talking about teleology, rather just that the action would be preventing something in which we're taking as good. And I think that's enough of a wrong maker with respect to abortion.
Well,
That's
I don't
pretty
really see the
vague.
wrong maker. And,
The
like,
Like
wrong
when
in this
you,
maker,
case,
I asked
when you
what
say
you meant
it's prima
by.
facie logic, hold on. Like, presumably you want to say it's prima facie wrong, and that's what your argument's based off of. The fact that you have to give an argument for why it's prima facie wrong, though, just
Well,
means it's not prima facie
the
wrong.
prima facie talk is
no,
just there just to elude what's being said, but we can motivate it being wrong virtue and argument. What's being said
Well, yeah,
here,
then that's just a different kind of
no,
argument.
well,
well, no,
no.
Also,
It can be prima facie wrong and still be supportive via an argument. I don't
well, the
understand.
thing is, when you say it's
I
prima facie wrong, that means there is
yeah,
something like counteract.
yeah, I
You
can
give you a
explain what
reason to
that is.
override it, and if you can
I,
like override it, then it just seems like
That's
that's not
not
really what you
true.
mean by
That's what he.
no,
goodness.
no, wait,
That's not true.
hold on. Look,
What
look,
that
look,
is
look. The
true.
reason, no, hold
When you
on,
say
just hold on.
prima
Look,
facie wrong, that means you
just
haven't
hold on,
counted
just
in
hold on,
all
just hold
the
on. I'm trying to answer
Yeah,
your
variable
question.
factors.
Hold on, I'm
that
trying to answer
means
your question. I'm just trying to answer your question. Look,
Okay.
because you're kind of confused right now, and so I just need to explain this, and then it all makes sense. Look, the reason we have the prima facie clause is because to say that it would be wrong in all scenarios would be including life of the mother scenarios, and life of the mother scenarios would also be preventing the mother from actualizing its accordance with goodness. Now, if it's the case that the mother wouldn't be affected with its actualization of accordance with goodness, then the abortion would not be permissible. That's probably the issue you weren't understanding.
I
wait,
don't know if
wait.
that really attacked anything I said.
When you
It
say
did.
in accordance with
Like,
goodness, I feel like this is kind of.
I'm not talking about like whether like in the specific situations. I'm just talking about the action of abortion in general, right? And so if it is the case that it
Did his mic cut
Yeah,
out? What's happening?
yeah, yeah. Is that me
Wait,
or?
This is what happens when you have
log-
cheap equipment. So
Yeah, it was
look,
logic.
good, man.
I mean,
When you say in accordance with goodness, on its face that sounds rather vague. And
when,
then when I asked you what you mean by that, you said something about God.
To be in relations with God.
Okay, so what does that mean? Can you expand on that a little bit?
What do you not understand? God, relations, to, be, in.
Yeah,
Like,
so how does having an abortion deprive its like relation with God?
I don't know what all this deprivation talk is. I'm just saying it prevents. I don't know.
My phone
Yeah,
died. Sorry.
how does it
Did you
prevent
hear
it?
what I said?
Well,
So
it
when you say
prevents
that
it
it's prima
because
facie
a
wrong,
thing in
and
which
you say
could
that, and hold
otherwise.
on, logic, hold on. And when you say that it's wrong in like cases, and then you say there's some cases where you can override it, then that's just not going to be the sufficient reason for why like abortion's immoral.
No,
You're going to have
because the
some sort of
cases are
variable
another
reason.
instance. No, because the cases are another instance of of what's it called, decreasing goodness. That's why. If the decrease in goodness is overridden with respect to getting an abortion, then that would be more of a reason in favor of getting an abortion.
Okay, then
And
this
so,
argument just seems to beg the question that the reason
Yeah.
it's wrong is because you consider it to be wrong. And so then I am just going to need a natural argument. Like this question still holds. It's just that you don't see the actual problem.
no, you're
Like
not. You're not
why
Wait,
understanding.
hold on. Logic, just to be clear, can you still amend my argument?
Yeah, well, you didn't make an argument. You asked me a
yeah.
question,
Well,
but
Wait,
I did make
logic.
an argument.
If you say that
can you
it's in
guys let him
accordance
respond? What the fuck are you
Hold
guys
on, no.
doing?
Kylo, just to be clear, I did give an argument.
Are
Maybe
you
you didn't
stupid?
understand the argument.
By the way, you
Hold
asked
on,
logic a
Kylo.
question.
Kylo,
Wait,
Kylo, trust me.
you asked
You don't
logic
wanna
to still
call me
notice
stupid.
how relax. You asked
Hold
logic to
on,
stillman.
I asked
Wait,
you to
wait,
stillman it.
wait.
You didn't
You asked
stillman it,
logic
and
to
so that's
stillman your
fine,
view, and
right?
then you go ahead to
Hold
continue
on.
to talk. Does that make sense?
Kylo,
Does that
when
make
I say
sense?
stillman, and then he immediately gets
So
my view
stop
wrong, and he
speaking.
doesn't
He
even
didn't even
say it.
Yeah,
recapitulate
so
your view.
what the
Relax,
Relax.
man.
steelman? Yeah, so
No,
yeah, so
Kylo,
all
calm
the
down. No
steelman
logic.
was.
I just want to cut the
Wait, so I
argument.
can't steelman
Notice how
argument?
he asked him to act like stillman my view, and I'm gonna keep talking as if that's
There's
coherent.
no argument to steel, man. You guys are on
Dumb
the
fuck. Your
affirmative.
teammate said he gave an argument. You guys not on the same track. You guys are
Just
all
to be
over the
clear, when I
place.
give that counter
You
argument
just
for the
told me to
point,
steelman.
What the fuck? Can you guys lock
hold on,
in?
I did give a counter argument, right? And it just
I
seems
don't
like
know
you
what
don't
you
want to
think an
engage in that.
argument is, but I think you made a claim. I don't think you gave an argument.
What? No, I said that if you label it as prima facie wrong, and then you say that there are reasons that can override it, that's just not going to be the sufficient reason that you
No, you
value,
made the
right?
claim was
That's
begging
No,
the
just
because
no.
what
question.
I'm valuing is the
No,
actualization of
that's not an
accordance
actual
with
argument.
goodness.
Okay, that's not an actual argument for why abortion is morally wrong. It's just why abortion is wrong in like
Yeah, but the
really
claim
cases
on
that
the
you haven't
table was most
No.
abortions are wrong,
No,
retard. That was the initial
Okay,
if you're
proposition.
hold
gonna
on.
say it,
Just
hold on. If you're
What
gonna
does
say in
it
most cases,
you're
hold
so
on.
confused, bro.
what does
I'm
it
not
mean for
confused.
something to be in
You
accordance
said
with
that to them.
goodness? This just kind of seems that it's
To be
begging
in
the question of
relation, to be in relations with God.
right.
Okay, what do you
So
do?
how does abortion
Okay,
prevent that?
let's
Yeah,
just be clear.
because
Wait,
this would
logic.
be
If you define good as to be in relations with God, like not all relations with God are going to be morally good, right? You can have a relationship with God in which you just kill like innocent babies
no, because
and like
that's against
sacrificial.
God's nature.
Hold on, just because it's in God's name doesn't mean it doesn't relate to God. Because if it goes against God, then that's
There's
just a
no
relation with God.
relationship being had there,
That's
dumb
it.
fuck. What are you
Yeah,
saying?
There is a
that's not
relationship. It's
relations
just that
with
it goes
God because
against God. That is going to
relations
be the
with God
relationship.
wouldn't entail murdering babies. What the fuck?
That's
No,
That's the
no.
most
if you
retarded
say
In
that
our
it's
thing
a
I've
view,
ever
in our
relationship
heard.
with
view,
God,
in our view, you can't
hold on.
be in relations with God given
Kylo,
that's.
logic, just be
Why
clear.
are
When
you
you say
asking
bad,
us
you don't take
questions and
that
keep
to,
talking?
hold on, when you say bad, you don't take that to be the opposite of good?
I
Obviously.
do take that to be the opposite of good.
What are you saying?
Okay, then you can only define that in terms of relationship with the actual subject, which would be God, okay? That you're straying away from God. So obviously it would be a relationship.
We're
So
saying
that's just
our
a blunder
thesis.
on
We're
YouTube.
saying our
So now
thesis
can
in
you make a
relations.
decent argument or are
Relax.
you
You gotta
just gonna
calm
keep
down.
blundering?
You can't
Yeah,
steamroll the
yeah, that's not
conversation.
conducive to your relationship with God.
What?
What?
We're saying in virtue of what's mean by relationship, that's indexed to positive or what you can call good actions. Not to say that if you're doing something evil, you can have a relationship to God. We don't affirm that view.
Because
Right. Why
only
is
good
it
act. Wait, hold on, real quick. Only good actions are conducive to relations with God because God is good.
you have
Hold
to
on,
give
that's
an
just
argument
obviously
as to
not
why
true.
That's
abortion is
We
not
gave
a
the
good
counter
action, though?
example.
Yeah, abortion's not a good
In a
action
world without
because
God
it
is
prevents
error
an
theory
entity
true.
from actualizing its accordance with goodness. That is
Hold
the wrong
on.
maker.
Just to be clear, like when you say it's the wrong maker, then you can go ahead and say that like there's a different wrong maker, right? In other cases. That seems a
No, I
little
didn't say
silly.
there's a different wrong maker.
Okay, but you hold this to be the sufficient reason for why it's wrong, right? In this case, it takes you like away from the accordance of God. Okay, and then you say in the other cases that you like, even though it does take you away from the accordance of God, it's still morally right.
Those are
You're gonna have
overriding
an overriding
principles.
Well,
reason there.
because there is more relations being held with God. That's the difference. Look,
Okay,
so
then that's
here's
just
the
another.
here. Let me just give you
Hold
the
on.
example. Let me just give you the
Just to be
example. Just
clear,
hold on.
we already went
Just
down
hold
the
on.
route of
Wait.
why holding good just to be relations to God. It's like kind of silly and not
No,
No,
we
really
we
that
didn't. What's the
haven't.
important.
No, we
contradiction? What's the
haven't.
contradiction?
Hold on, the contradiction is that bad things can also be in relationship with
You
God.
think that's a
But no,
contradiction?
those aren't conducive to
That's
relationships
not
with
a P
God.
and not P. That's a blunder. Lock the fuck in.
Wait,
It is a
logic.
P and not
Give a
P.
P and not P.
Be
When you
just
said,
to
hold
be
on, just to be clear, when you define good as just like the opposite of, or like bad or evil, or however you want to define it in that case, it would just be that it's not P, right? Because where all cases that P occur, not P cannot occur, right? That's just basic logic.
What's the P and not
It
P?
seems really confused.
What's the P and
What's
not
the P
P?
not P?
Yes.
Saying that good is in relationship with God, and then you're going to say that the opposite is not in relationship with
So
God.
good
Like,
is hold
obviously
on.
it
So hold
is.
on. So wait. So this is the claim
Hold
that
on,
Dean's
just to be
making.
clear,
You're
do you want me
saying
to
that
break
the
it down
P.
into more
Relax. You're
logical
P
saying
and not P would
good
be good
is
in
relationship, and it is not the case that good is in relationship to God. Nigga, that's retarded. Go ahead, derive
No,
that.
that's not what I
So
said. I
then
said
give the
bad.
P and not
That's a
P.
blunder on your part, Kylo.
I'm just
The
asking to
blunder is
help you out
that is
because you're
not
not
what
No,
good
his
explicitly giving
P
the
and
P and
not
P.
P was P and P. He said
Sorry, I
goodness
didn't
is
mean to leave.
God and then not goodness is not God. That's the same fucking thing.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm on my actual PC now.
yeah.
That's
Wait,
Can you explicate the proposition as direct negation?
The
That's entailed
contradiction
in our
is going to
view.
be when you refer to like evil being the like with no relationship to God, or that evil when you do evil actions, that's something that takes you away from the relationship with God. Well, if you define like evil as a relationship with God,
What?
right, which you
Retard.
have
That's
to
not our
do.
definition.
You can't
Well,
define
your
evil as a
definition
relationship
is
with
that
God. No,
evil
that's false
is
with respect to God's
You're not
nature.
tracking, Dean.
when you're going to use God within the actual sentence and the proposition, you're going to say that evil is not God or not goodness, right? That is going to be a subject-predicate relation to God and evil. It just seems like you guys don't know
What's
what you're
being
talking
hold
about.
on, you can't do something evil and have a relationship with God. Okay? Okay.
Yes, but the way you define an evil action is based off a relationship with God. So that just
So
seems like a
once,
contradiction.
so that means if you're doing evil, you're negating the P, right?
What?
What? You don't
If
even
you do an
understand the
evil
objection.
action,
Hold on, logic. Wait, hold on, logic. Kylo, do you guys not actually understand the objection? I'm just kind of confused.
Seems like you're strawmanning our view.
Wait, what do you think the objection I'm trying to give is? I'm just
Well,
curious.
you've attempted to say there was a proposition and its direct negation and touted the thesis. That
Okay,
was your
yeah,
objection.
and so what was the proposition that I gave?
You gave the proposition evil is a relationship with God. That's what you said.
Okay, yeah. Because how you define evil is just
Yeah,
taking you away from God.
Wait, you think
Okay, and
that's not a relationship, by the way?
Kylo, so can you define evil in any way that doesn't use the word God?
Hold on. Us not saying the term.
Kylo, just to be
Relax,
clear,
relax. Why you ask
can you-
questions?
let's not
What's
answer
up
the
with you
question.
asking questions
I'm
and then
asking you a
continue
yes or no
talking?
question.
We don't
Can you
have to define
define-
evil without using God. Why do we have to do that?
This guy asks
Okay,
questions and then
you
keeps
took
talking.
good to be the
Nigga,
opposite
stop
of
speaking.
evil,
Stop
which
speaking. Stop
inherently
speaking.
uses
You
good.
asked the question.
So if your
You asked the
definition-
question and kept
Hold
talking.
on.
So I'm gonna answer your question now, nigga. So no,
Holy
we're not
fuck.
coming. Relax. We're not.
you guys actually
Relax.
engage in anything I
I'm
said?
asking you a
Or do
question.
you just
Dumb
wanna go
fuck.
to
Why would you
conclusions?
ask a question? Keep talking. So
Wait,
here's the
Kylo,
answer.
just to be clear, I
Here's
think we
the
can go to
answer. Pipe
conclusions.
down.
No, just
Wait,
pipe
wait,
down.
no, no,
Pipe
no, no,
down.
question.
Pipe down. You
calm
asked the
down.
question and then
Kylo,
continue
Kylo,
to
ask the
ramble.
question,
So
at
you
least
said,
give it.
"Do you think you can define evil and not have the term God in there?" What an idiotic question. Look, we're not saying the term God cannot be in the definition of evil. What we're saying
Oh,
is,
if it is
can
in
you
the
shut the
definition of
fuck
evil,
up,
then
nigga?
it's just
We
gonna be
don't
that it is a
disagree.
predicate
We don't
relation.
disagree, dumb fuck.
Then it's a
Shut
relation.
up, dude.
Then
Holy
it is a
fuck.
relation.
Are you okay? Take a
So it
break.
just seems
So
like
I'm
you
gonna
don't even know
finish
your own
answering your
argument.
question without you interrupting me.
Okay.
So all that's being said here is you're strawmanning the view to say, well, look, if you have evil, then you have a relationship with God. No, retard. We're saying the exact opposite. Given what we mean by God, you cannot have a relationship with God if there was some evil action being occurrence. You understand what's being said there?
Yeah, but saying it's an evil action just begs the question. Like that's what's in contention
Logic,
is
do you
whether or
want to
not it's an
respond to this
evil
retard,
action.
nigga?
Yeah. So the reason it's evil is because you already agreed. Well, first of all, I don't know why you're saying evil rather bad because we agreed. I mean, I think bad and immoral. For something to be immoral is just to say that something's bad. So look,
I don't know
okay,
what
It's
my.
just these are just
wait, just hold
synonyms.
on, just hold on. I'm answering the question. Just
Wait, hold on.
Can my
hold on. I'm
teammate
literally
speak?
answering
Like,
your
holy
question.
fuck.
I'm responding to your question now. Look, if we're agreeing that for something to be immoral is for something to be bad, and bad is the opposite of good, then to prevent good is to be bad. Do you understand that?
Bro, you haven't given an argument as to why abortion is bad. That's the thing.
Abortion
You're
is
just
bad
saying,
because it's antithetical to good.
so it's just begging the question. You're just
What?
saying it's if I say murder or if I say murder is bad and you ask me why it's bad and I say because it's antithetical to good, that's not an argument, dude.
Okay,
You're
Are you
just
retarded?
presupposing.
oh, he's not understanding. Look, okay. So if you ask me why is murder bad, right?
Yeah.
And my answer for that is because it is an undercutting of good, or it is something that is antithetical to good. You might be saying, well, that's begging the question with respect to your semantics of good. Now, it's not in this case because my semantics are good of good is just being in accordance with God. So that would mean if the action prevents goodness, then it is bad, and it does prevent goodness because it prevents the fetus from actualizing its accordance with God.
Okay, can you walk me through how it prevents the fetus from reaching accordance to God? Like I'm
Yeah,
not very well
it
read in
just
theism, so you just got to break that down for me.
yeah, it just stops the fetus from having something that it could otherwise come to have.
Like, okay, just to be clear, when you're like,
And
this just seems like a fallacy because in your premises you're trying to use a
Is it formal or
descriptive.
informal?
It's gonna be. I don't know if you would consider it formal or informal. It might be formal. I don't know if it's an error in the syntax though. Like
So
some people might consider
explicate
it to be.
the flawed
But it
reasoning?
seems like you're trying to derive a normative conclusion from your meta-ethical view, right? And that just seems a little weird, right?
Wait,
Yeah,
what's
to
the
say
ethical
that-
view?
David Hume spoke of this, right? I mean,
yeah,
Hume
it's
spoke
just
of this,
it
must
is
be
odd
correct.
cop. It's you're stopping the fetus from like becoming a.
It's an
newborn.
analytic
It's just
argument.
a descriptive fact.
Wait, what's the is and what's the ought? Go ahead.
The is
Yeah, it
that
just
you're
seems like you're hiding
depriving the
behind your
fetus of like flourishing into a person. That's the
So,
is.
so you
And then
is
you're saying
depriving the
you
fetus? Like what? Put it into a sentence. Is and then ought. Put it into a sentence.
Hold
yeah,
on,
so
just to be clear,
abortion
you can't
is.
Why are you
dictate
over talking
the
your
is
teammate?
statement
Like,
from
these
only
niggas
ought
can't
statements.
even
Why is he
debate.
just bro? Your teammate is literally
Wait,
talking.
hold on, I'm just
Yo,
trying to
Dean,
clarify
but you know your
something.
teammate was in a
You're never
sentence,
going to
right?
be able to derive an is conclusion from an ought unless you're some sort of like weird account of
An
like
is conclusion
maybe
from an ought. You mean an
naturalist.
ought from an is? That's a blunder. But
It
look,
goes both ways,
You're
right?
saying
That's the
that
problem.
the abortion is stopping the fetus from developing into like what it otherwise been,
No, we're talking about
what it
relations
otherwise
here.
would have become,
Yeah, it
right?
wouldn't have a relation with God.
That's a descriptive fact.
It just seems like their intuition.
And you're
sometimes.
you're deriving an ought from that. Like we ought not do this because of this descriptive
First of all,
fact.
we
we
use
ought
no.
not do. We ought not have an abortion because
Well,
it.
no,
What is
you're
put into a
defining-
sentence?
okay,
Because
logic.
blank is. Therefore, we ought. That's how that should go.
I mean, yeah, you could do that, but like that's why it's a problem, right? You're not gonna be able, like,
I
unless
just need you
could
to put
prove-
it into that form. It is
Logic.
blank.
like you
Therefore,
could
we
do
ought.
that, right? I'm just asking you for why, like, that is a valid means because it doesn't seem
But
valid.
flag
to me.
how nowhere, even though if we do use this moral, like if we use this all language, nowhere in the argument do you hear any alt language dumb fucks just say that abortion is wrong given semantic scheme.
Yeah,
So,
you're saying abortion is
Yeah,
wrong
you're saying
because of
abortion
this.
is
I don't know why you guys are
You're
using
saying
this.
abortion is
Abortion
wrong because it prevents the fetus from actualizing, like becoming a person. That's
No,
just a
what?
descriptive
Are you
fact.
stupid? Does the premise say
Okay, I
that?
don't know if that's what they said, but
Like,
like the
call the straw
logic still
man.
holds is that when they say goodness and stuff like that, they're baking in like okay, I might have just said what Lex said, but you are baking in some sort of normativity into it.
Wait,
which
define
seems a
goodness
little
again.
confused.
Wait, let's see if they were
Because
tracking.
most meta,
Define
like,
goodness.
You can have
How do we
specific
define goodness?
normativity within meta
How do we
ethics,
define
but
goodness?
hold on, you could like define goodness.
How
in
did we
normative
define it?
terms.
How did we
How
define
did
it?
What I'm
we
talking
define it?
about.
How did
What
we
is
You're
define
talking
goodness
it?
with
about
respect to
goodness
our
being
semantics?
God, right? That's a meta-ethical debate. That's not a normative debate.
Wait, nigga.
That's a
Yeah.
different kind of
Wait.
reason. So now,
You charge us with fallacious reasoning given what we said. Okay, now it's
Also,
not
also,
clear on
that's
what's
not
the
what I
problem.
said for good. That's not what I said.
that's what you said for good.
No,
Like,
what
I
I
think
said for
everybody here
what I said
can
for good. What I said for
clarify for
good.
me.
No, what I said for good was relations with God.
No
Not God's
relations to
simplicity.
God. That's like just because you define good differently doesn't mean the problem still holds. Like that's just like a
So
semantical error.
is the
Well, no,
argument
no, no. It's a
that
tracking error. That's
No,
what we're
that's
trying
not a
to.
tracking error. Like you could say it's a
That is
tracking
a
error.
tracking.
I'm sorry I didn't get it exactly right word for word in this
I said
like
it like
10
6 or
minute
7
EM real
times.
fast. But like my argument still holds is that you're trying to derive an ought from an is, which is
Yeah.
just really
wait, logic? Can I
you're trying to
steel
derive an
man?
is from an ought. 6-7.
Can I steel man your
6-7.
argument and just see if I'm on the right page? So are you basically saying that abortion is wrong because of like some religious framework that says it's wrong?
I don't. No, no, not at all. No. So look. Okay. All I'm saying is we have this concept of what goodness is. Now,
Based on what?
just let me finish, bro.
Stipulative,
So
retard.
So we have this vision of what goodness is. Now, whatever this thing is that we're taking goodness to be, whether it's I don't know, whether it's like deontic norms or consequentialist views, whatever it is, we have this thing that we take goodness to be. Now, if those semantics of goodness or that definition of goodness is justified, then we can agree that anything in which is not in alignment with that goodness is a wrong action. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
How does this
So then
conflict with
wait,
any of these things of goodness?
hold on.
Bro?
I just need you to answer that so I can continue. Hold on. So if you agree with that, then you'd be saying that if my semantics of goodness are correct, then any action in which is not in alignment with those, or with those semantics of goodness, is wrong. Therefore, abortion's wrong because it is not in alignment with that, because it prevents a fetus from having this
Wait,
goodness.
so abortion is wrong because it doesn't align with the semantics?
Given what we
Yeah,
mean by
like, why
given,
should we expect
because
listen,
it doesn't align with goodness. with
given
respect to my semantics.
given what we mean by good, it's literally analytically true. Are you guys this brain dead?
Yeah.
Okay, why should we accept your semantics?
Hold on, that's a
on
different.
that goodness is
Wait.
intrinsic to
You
God?
asking
I
why?
can't,
Why
I
should
can't
you?
take this serious.
You
I
asking
can't,
why
like,
should you
Yeah.
accept our semantics holds no
Kylo,
bearing to given
Kylo, I
what
don't
we
even
mean?
think you think this is a
What's
good
up?
argument.
Notice how they're
can you guys actually
interrupting.
give a decent
They're trying to
argument?
dodge. So why you should accept the way we use the term holds no bearing to if the way we're using the term
No,
is
I'm not saying that I
why
can't
are you
accept
interrupting
the
me?
use of the term.
Why are
I'm
you
saying that
interrupting
even
me?
if you use
Why
this
are you
term,
interrupting me? You don't hear me speaking? You think it's up character
Hold on.
to interrupt me
I'm
and start
saying that
barking?
even though if you
I
use
was
this
in the
term,
middle of
then
my
abortion is
sentence, you
wrong.
dumb fuck.
It's just
So
mentioned
just
like
notice
that.
how you interrupted
this
me
whole
thing
and
is
allow me to
disgusting
finish
right
speaking.
now.
No, back to you, BT3. You asking, well, why should we accept your type semantics holds no bearing
Yeah.
to if given what we mean by the terms is coherent and establishing
No.
wait, notice how you're barking. Establishing the conclusion to be true
barking.
given what we mean by the term. So those are two different objections being levied. Now we can talk about
Look,
why you should use our
Kylo,
semantics,
just
but
to be
that holds no
clear,
bearing to the truth, the
objection
validity,
is not
soundness of the
with-
conclusion.
Our objection is not with semantics of your
But
argument.
BT3 just
It's with the
levied that critique.
syntax.
Your teammate just did that, by the way. So
Like he might disagree with the
So wake up,
semantics.
nigga.
That's not the objection. The objection is just that we don't agree with the syntax. We think
where's
you're
the
making some sort
syntax?
of
Where's
error.
the yeah? Explicate the error, by the way, because you kept saying that, but never
So
explicate the error.
when you're saying this is the case, right? You're trying to derive some sort of ought there.
Okay,
You don't really use that language within the argument.
What's
So
about our
it just seems like the
argument
argument's not
uses?
even gonna be valid
What
if
about
the
our
conclusion
argument
doesn't
uses
follow.
alt language? Where are you
So-
deriving alt from?
Bro, we're having a normative discussion.
Hold on,
why abortion is
This is
better.
really serious?
Hold on.
Kylo, you can't be this retarded.
Wait.
Calm down.
Now calling me
Kylo,
retarded is ironic.
Okay, no, just to be
You're
clear,
saying
no
I
one
want
thinks
you
you
to
look-
I want you to highlight. I want you to highlight.
Yes, you-
Highlights
give me
where in
this
the
error.
arguments do you get it as
You want me to
alt?
show you why that would make it non-valid?
Where do you-
Like if the conclusion doesn't follow.
Wait,
it's not a
logic. To
valid
be clear,
argument.
they're saying within the argument there's this is alt gap. Correct? That's what they're
No,
saying.
the ought is that we ought not get abortion.
Right. Now listen.
Yeah.
I understand that. They're saying I understand that. That's fine. They're saying within the argument you get an is alt gap. Is that correct?
Oh my god, this guy's a
Is
retard.
that not what?
That's what they're saying.
Exactly. So why you sound a retard when that's the critique you niggas been levying that you get an is alt
When
gap?
you
nigga?
say okay, when you're using like meta-ethical and like meta-ethical terms to justify your sort of normative terms, it seems like you're trying to say that the is's are going to produce an ought, which just seems a little confused.
Can you put
Right.
it in a sentence, retard?
Can I put what in a sentence? Everything
He
was
is
Was that
ought
not a
gap
sentence?
because
What?
blank is, therefore we ought. That's what
because
we
blank
need.
is like doesn't like I'm saying that is the problem, right?
Yeah, so put it into a sentence. What is the is ought gap? Because look, I'll give you an example. Because the fetus is sentient, we ought sustain it. That's an example of the is ought gap. Now I need you to give the example because you're saying that there's an is ought gap in this
That's not the
argument.
is-ought gap. Oh my god.
That is what the is ought gap
Doesn't-
is.
No, it's not. The is-ought gap. It's just referring So when you like try to say that a descriptive claim can produce an ought, you're not like
Yeah, that's what I just
you're
did.
not accurately
Wait,
describing it.
wait. Is the fetus?
that's
Wait,
fine.
is the claim the fetus is sentient not a descriptive claim?
I mean, it is, but when
Oh,
you say
that's a
define
blunder.
Okay, so,
it,
that, wait,
That's
so
a
my example was
blunder.
valid.
That's a
So my example
blunder.
was wait,
it might have
so
been
my
a good
example was
but it
then
wasn't
an
a good.
example of the Azar
Hold
cap.
on.
You just
See,
blundered,
or
dumb fuck.
Logic. You said you were going to define it.
No, he
That's
didn't.
I
He
didn't
said he's
start
gonna
to
give
define
you
it. I said I'll
the
give you an
example.
example.
He said he's gonna give you an
I gave you an
example.
example and I gave
He
an
gave you an
example.
example.
Right?
Lock the fuck in. You're not
Like,
tracking.
Just because
Logic,
you
I have
are using
a-
it in a sentence doesn't mean it's valid, right?
He gave
can
you an
have syntactically
example.
invalid
I said I'm
sentences.
going to give you an example of an Azar cap, and then I need you
We
to
want you to
capitulate
fill in
what
our
the Azar cap is
arguments.
in my
You're saying,
argument.
look, given this arguments we've deployed, there
Bro,
isn't.
okay.
You're lying,
I
nigga.
get
You
it, I
just
get it,
okay,
Kylo, I
perfect.
get it.
Finally,
Calm
it
down.
took you long enough,
You're
nigga.
saying that because the goodness is God and or relationships with God, that's the reason abortion is immoral. So you're saying that
No, that's not
you
the
ought
Azar
not.
cap because you're saying because the
I'm
goodness
trying
is
to
God.
explain it
It
to
should
you,
be
and you're interrupting me. Calm down.
yeah, because that's not the Azar
Yeah,
cap.
you're
You
trying
already
to,
you
hold
already
on,
fucked up.
You didn't even let me finish giving my example. If you'd let me
Because you fucked
finish,
up. It should start with because it is, but you said
Logic, calm
because
down.
goodness is. That's not how the Azar cap is
Yo,
formed.
yo, is this guy being serious when I say because goodness? Like that can be identical to because it is,
Holy
right?
stutter.
Okay,
Bro,
so
stutter
why
once,
should
what?
why should we accept?
All
you said
I mean
that,
by stutter
It's
is
and therefore you're saying that
you have this jitter
because
language.
goodness is in relationship with God, you ought not get an abortion, right?
Logic. You said that goodness is predicated on God, right? What's the motivation for that?
Does Kylo think
well,
I've
the
stuttered at
motivation
all?
for that.
Yeah, I
was
told
just
you what
because
I
he
mean
ended
by
up-
stutter, and all I mean here is that you're choppy with your
Okay,
words.
okay, just chill with the meta
Okay.
though. Just chill with the meta.
Okay.
The reason
Because you
for
said-
that. The
because
reason
you
for
s-
that,
Oh,
yeah,
Grace
yeah,
is
I'm
playing
answering your
chess.
question. I don't know why you and Dean like doing this thing where you ask questions and then talk
Okay.
over the person while they're answering your question. You
All
should just
right.
ignore
So
it.
answer the question.
Yeah, I'm trying, but you keep interrupting me. So the answer to the question is that's an analytic truth with respect to the definition for God, as God entails all of triomny properties. Triomny properties. One of those is going to be all goodness, and then yeah,
Notice how he didn't answer the question.
yeah. Your question was why are we deriving goodness from God? Was that not a direct answer to your fucking question?
No, I'm saying because you said that goodness is in relation to stuff like consequentialism, God, etc. Why should
No,
we
I said
accept
those could
that?
be examples.
Yeah. So why should we use God as an example for goodness rather than consequentialism or another normative framework?
Bro, this nigga's
No,
retarded.
that's
Yeah,
a good
because
move.
Wait.
Do it.
You
No.
wait.
Yeah, all the other,
You fucking dumb fuck, Tom.
all the other frameworks fall to reductios and.
Wait, hold on.
That's
That's not even.
So
What's
that's not
wait,
motivating reasons at all,
wait.
dude.
Notice how look. You asking, well, why don't we
Damn,
use
these 400
hold on,
players are
why
different
don't we
breeds.
use these other views, nigga? Do you understand that type of question is not an objection to the way we're using the language? Do you understand this?
When you say that there's
Hold on,
motivation to use your view, and then you're gonna say
wait, BT3.
No, wait, Kylo, let me
This
explain
guy's
this to
lost.
you. If someone says that they're using animalism, and I ask why should we accept animalism over like some personal identity theory,
Tom, do you have BO2 on plutonium?
like
Okay,
yeah,
not
the
saying
answer
to
to that is
motivate-
just because my argument doesn't fall to reductios.
Look, given
Really?
wait, talking about why should accept another view
Wait, so
holds
time.
no bearing. Let me just
Or-
answer his question. Let me just
Wait,
answer,
hold on,
let me just
Logic.
answer
So
his
presumably
question.
if I gave
Let me
you
just
a
answer his
logically
question. Let me just
consistent
answer his
system,
question. Let me
Wait,
just
wait,
let me
Kylo.
just hold on. I need to say
Hold
this.
on,
Because
no,
he just
Kylo.
levied
Yeah,
an
just let
objection.
Kylo go real
So
quick.
just allow me to
Kylo, what
respond,
you
and then
have-
I'll let
like,
you
what you're saying
speak.
has
I'll
no
let you
substance.
speak. Yes,
Like,
it
it
does.
seems like you don't
Yes,
know
it
what
does.
you're
Because
talking
he's talking
about.
about,
I'm
well,
trying to
look,
ask
why
Logic a
don't we
question.
take
Logic.
these other
Let's
views?
say
And
I
all
make
that's
Kylo,
being
go
said
and
here
then answer-
is that,
then ask your
nigga,
question
whether
again.
you take whether you want to take other views or not, given we have objection to other views or not, holds no bearing to if you accept the premises in our given arguments, the conclusion will be true. Okay, do you
yeah, I'm not
understand?
accepting the premises. I'm
Okay,
asking
which
for the
premise do you
motivation.
deny? Which premise do you
BT3,
deny?
I'm just gonna ask a question. Logic. Let's say I make a perfectly consistent, logical, morally consistent system in which rape was morally okay, or not rape, but like
You can't-
killing
you
was
can't
morally
do that.
okay
You
in all
can't. That's
cases.
impossible.
That's not impossible.
Yeah, it is because you're saying it's perfectly moral, which that's obviously false. And I can
When
give
I
you the
say
contradiction.
killing, hold on. When I say
Killing,
killing
yeah,
is
that's-
okay.
Well,
yeah,
when you
so,
say
like,
killing, I don't know what you mean there. If you're just talking about killing in a general sense, like all else equal, killing is wrong because then it would just be murder.
Well,
So
hold on. Just to be clear, like you can make a system which killing is perfectly like morally consistent. If you just take that like suffering or like maximizing pain is the morally correct option, right? You can do that, and you can create a consistent argument.
Are you
with that.
equivocating on what good means?
Kylo, calm down.
I think you're equivocating when you say we can create a
I don't wanna
system
hear it.
where rape is
I don't wanna
good.
hear this
You're
rebel fest.
equivocating on what the term good
Kylo,
means.
calm down, calm down. I'm not equivocating anything.
Of course you
right?
are.
I'm just I am equivocating.
Oh,
what good
bitch,
means.
now you're
I'm
backtracking.
saying that good means maximization of harm. So yes, I am like defining something good.
Right,
good point, Kylo.
right. So you're changing the term.
I don't know if that's what you wanted to say. Like if you just wanted to say I defined a word, good. Like,
yeah, because
good, yeah,
your goal should
I'm
be
glad
able
you
to say
tracked
we
that.
can create a moral
But
system
Logic, I
where
could,
the
like,
terms don't
hypothetically create a
change
system
and you
which
get this
killing
type of
is okay
reductio.
in 100% of cases, which seem unintuitive to most people. And the reason it's unintuitive, not because it's like there's a reductio.
It's not
It's a
unintuitive
reductio.
given you
Wait,
change the
wait,
term.
what do you
not
think a
reductio.
reductio is?
Reductio is just saying that there's a like contradiction in your logic.
No, not
Wait,
necessarily.
I don't say
Wait,
that.
yes,
reductive-
necessarily. That's what reductio ad absurdum is.
A
That's the
reductio isn't a contradiction. It's just a
Well,
logical absurdity.
It can be an
Yeah,
absurdity or a
in
contradiction.
most cases,
Bro,
it's
Dean,
not
Well,
a
it would be
contradiction.
a contradiction if they don't.
Your own
bite the
teammate
bullet.
doesn't agree with you,
Morally, like,
retard.
hold on, in the morally...
Hey, Kylo, let's just let them debate each other.
No, hold on, logic, Kylo, I don't know if you think you're doing good. No, bt3, I'm just using reductio by absurdum, which would be proof by contradiction in most cases.
Okay.
Are you guys all
So,
together now?
Logic, Kylo, I don't know if you guys want to actually give, like, an argument.
I
Let's
mean,
just
given that we
decide.
levied an argument and definitive view,
Yeah,
either
you
can
gave me a
object.
hypothetical. I'm gonna respond to it. Look, I think when we're talking about reductios,
Welcome to 2
maybe you're
again.
talking about it in more of a formal sense than me, but I think
I'm not
like
talking about
certain-
reductios, I'm just talking about, like, the killing example. Like, if
yeah,
that's
and
consistent...
I'm saying, look, I think that argument or that position would fall to reductios because I think it would fall to very unintuitive conclusions. I think that
Okay,
could be
just
some
because you
reductio
say
criteria.
that's unintuitive conclusions, that's not going to be a reductio, right?
No, I think if like nearly nobody would agree with this, that would be reductio. Like for instance, how
That's
we
not a
consider.
reductio, that's just
Yeah,
saying it's
just hold on,
unmotivated.
just hold
That's
on.
a different
Like,
kind of claim.
just hold
Like,
on,
not a lot of
just
people
hold on,
hold to
just hold
semantic
on,
realism,
just
that
hold
doesn't
on,
mean there's not
just
motivation.
hold on. Look,
That just
the
seems like
same way.
abundant
Okay,
logic.
okay, so you're not gonna just hold on. Okay, great. So look,
Logic,
all
I
I'm
was in the
saying.
middle of a
Okay,
sentence,
so
I'm not going to let you
still not gonna hold
overtalk
on.
me.
Yeah, because I was speaking and then you started speaking. Like
I agree
that's
you were
kinda-
speaking. Do you want to give an argument?
Great, so I was speaking. Okay, so basically, when we're talking about reductios, like you would say that falling to a reductio where infanticide is okay, or falling to like a hypothetical where infanticide is okay, that would be a reductio. No.
I
Oh,
mean,
sorry,
there's
what'd
a
you
lot of there's a lot
Wait,
of
wait. I just need a yes or no. That was a binary
Wait, hold
question.
on, I didn't hear you. I was looking at time stream. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The question was if there's some hypothetical in which the person says that killing innocent babies is okay, or just murdering innocent babies is okay, would you say that's a reductio?
I mean, not really. I mean, it's going to be a wrong view just because I
Oh, you don't wait. So just so we're clear, you don't think
But
that
that doesn't
you
mean
don't
you
think
can't create a system in which, if you fix this, like variables to be a certain way, that you can create a consistent system. Like
no.
obviously,
We're
if you break
saying
it down
all
into
else
wait,
equal.
logic. Just to be clear, if you break something down into deontic logic, which is what moral language is based off of, you don't think you can create a perfectly valid system in which the terms or how you define an ought is just only used in ways in which would be conventionally evil. Like this is one of the main objections
No,
to why
that's
we should like
no.
abolish deontic logic within our morals. So it
Yeah,
just
well-
seems like you're a little uneducated. Not logic.
No,
that's okay, right?
that was like a
Maybe-
terrible
What?
attempt at rhetoric, by the way. But look,
This
all
isn't
I'm
even
saying,
attempt at rhetoric. I'm just
Are
giving
you gonna
an
shut the
actual,
fuck up so he can respond?
What?
Yeah, deadass.
I'm just making an objection to my point.
No, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Look, so first of all, I do just want to flag. You said saying that infanticide, like murdering babies, is okay. Isn't a reductio? I think that's probably like.
You said murdering babies. I said killing babies.
No, he
I
stipulated
asked you-
murdering.
I asked you, though.
He literally
I
said
asked
murdering,
you
dumb
if-
fuck.
Yes, I stipulated if there's
Oh,
a hypothetical
yeah.
where someone says that
If
murdering
it's
babies is okay,
murdering-
is that a reductio? And you responded with, no, I don't think that's a
Maybe
reductio.
you
Now,
should
look,
get off your
Logic,
laptop. Get off
okay,
your laptop
I
game so you
misspoke
can
there.
start tracking, you dumb
What?
fuck.
Kylo,
Stop
calm down,
playing
let me speak.
laptop games so you can stop making these
What?
blunders, nigga.
Hold on, Kylo, let me speak. Yeah, Logic, I'm sorry, I misheard you. I thought you just said killing. If you're gonna say murder, then it's just baked into what murder means that it's gonna be immoral, right?
Yeah, it's analytic.
Okay, great. So
But
we're
Logic, what
acknowledging.
I'm saying is
Wait,
that you
hold on,
can...
just hold on,
Hold
just hold
on,
on, just hold on,
wait,
just hold on.
I'm in the
It
middle
was
of
logic
clarifying,
speaking
and
time
you
before we
interrupted me.
clarified your
I was trying to
blunders.
clarify
You
you,
did
and you're
with
trying
one
to
It
interrupt
was
me.
literally logic
Literally,
speaking.
You interrupted me to stipulate that you didn't mean murder, even though I said that loud and clear. So that was a tracking error or a blunder on your behalf. Either way, that looks
I mean,
very
it's
bad.
not really a blunder.
Yeah, but just let logic,
Just
let's let logic finish speaking and stop
So now what I'm
mishearing.
saying, yeah, great. So now what I'm saying is either we have scenario A where killing is wrong, all else equal, which killing all else equal is just murder.
Oh my god,
Okay.
I just did a both head. What the fuck am I doing?
Yo,
Both
mute
heads.
this guy.
Logic.
Mute ban this
Hold on,
guy.
Mr. KG, I need you to lock the fuck in. You're doing
My bad,
horrible.
guys.
I guess level... What is this guy? Level
Wait.
300? What the
Logic,
fuck?
are you
Notice how these
saying-
retards are
Fuck.
disengaging, not engaging in the objection.
Okay, now, just to be clear, my argument wasn't about whether all things equal, killing is good. My argument was within deontic logic, whether you can actually make a valid system if you define something. It seems like the definition isn't going to be what makes the thing valid within, like, deontic logic. It's just going to be the syntax, right? The syntax is going to fix the validity, and the semantics is going to fix what's sound of it. Now, maybe you want to say it's not a sound argument, but you're not going to say it's not a syntactically correct argument. Like, obviously,
Yeah, and
you
I'm
can make
not
a
saying syntactical.
logic.
Bro,
No offense, I'm not done. Like, I'm not done. If you're gonna say I can't create a consistent system in which there is no reductios, right? And
But
I
I
can
think-
use like that's
No,
just
wait,
wrong, right?
oh,
That's not true.
I think a reductio entails absurd conclusions.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
but
the
like,
absurd conclusions in
Because
this
I
case are
think
just
that
gonna be
would be an absurd
contradictions.
conclusion, and I
Wait.
don't think that absurd is.
Hold on.
Is
What do you think
subjective.
Logic, you're a
by absurd
deontologist?
No,
No,
I'm not a
that's not.
deontologist.
No, you're not.
Well, you could say I'm a deontologist if you're taking deontology to just be following
Yeah.
like like ontic norms, then sure, yeah, I think
Like,
the Bible.
Is there
Wait,
is
hold
there
on.
objection? Just to be
I'm just
clear,
gonna
just to be
screen
clear
share,
for the
okay?
Look, as the
Wait,
objection, you guys are
hold
hold
on.
on, no,
Just
nigga,
gonna
you've been
go to the
talking,
recording
nigga. It's
to
my
hide.
talking time,
I'm just gonna
nigga.
screen
So I don't know
share.
why the fuck
This
you're
is
over
what
talking
reductio
me, dumb
absurdum
fuck.
is. It's just gonna be
Yo,
indirect
retard,
proof,
yo,
proof by
retard. I don't know
assuming the
why you're
opposite.
over talking,
And
bitch.
reductio
Shut the fuck
absurdum,
up,
in the
nigga.
general sense,
So look,
proof by
all that's being said
contradiction,
here
right?
is, do you think?
Reductio
All right,
absurdum
this
is
nigga's
just proof by
retarded. So
contradiction.
like,
So yeah.
yeah. So now that this dumb fuck is still yapping, look, are you guys saying our argument is false given that there is a reductio or not? Because
well, wait,
okay, is that what you guys are saying?
here.
Hello? Is that retard still speaking? Okay, are you guys saying our argument is false given there's a reductio, or is the argument false in virtue of one of the premises being false? Just be very clear on what's the critique to the view, because it doesn't seem like we're getting any clear objections to the argument levied. So let's just be clear in that regard.
There's no contradiction in saying we can have a perfectly consistent system
Yo,
in which morally
Dean,
good just means the
dumb
maximization
fuck.
of harm or pain.
Dean, dumb fuck.
Right? We could do that within
Is this guy
deontic
special
logic.
needs? Like, wallahi, did he just
What?
turn his
Are you
mic
gonna
down?
let me? What?
Are you gonna
Is
answer
he
the
gonna let me
answer the
finish?
question? Are you saying our argument is false in virtue of?
I'm saying you're not even tracking the debate because we're not even talking about
No,
that. I don't even think
wait.
logic thinks we're talking
I'm
about
getting us
that.
back to the initial points. By the way,
Logic.
that's what I'm
Yes,
doing.
logic.
Can you
That's my
help
name.
Kylo?
That's what I'm doing.
Like I think he's really
My
lost
teammates
right now.
knows what I'm doing. I'm getting us back to the initial points because we got to the
The initial point was
we got to the
initial
absurd
point was
view
about whether
regarding.
you have overriding reasons that don't involve goodness equating to relationships with God. That was the original point, but you ran to the meta ethical
Now is it
point,
now
in which
is
you
it the
got blown the
case?
fuck out on the meta
Hold
ethical
on, young
point,
lady.
and then you ran to
Is
the
it the
semantic
case?
point,
Is it
and
the
then you got blown
case?
out on the
Which premise do
semantic
you?
point.
That's just not true.
And now you are trying to say that you can't create a deontic system in which
Hold on, you're equivocating.
all the terms
On,
of,
you're
like, you used to
equivocating on
refer to morally
what it
good
means to be
are just going
absurd.
to equal to maximization
You're
of
equivocating
harm,
on a
which you can't
reductio.
do.
Hey, retard. You're equivocating
How?
on a reductio because look, you're saying, well, what it means to be reductio is only if and only if there's a contradiction. But given what logic means by reductio, obviously that's not the case because he's just saying, look, a reductio is going to be the type view where if we analyze the general population and this given population, they take the view to be one where they what's not endorsed. Okay, that's all he's saying by reductio in this given context. But your fat, don't fuck retarded ass keeps using this contradictory talk, which is not what's being said here. So all I'm saying is, let's go back to initial argument, the main topic, the main dialectic, and you guys can levy your critique. You niggas are getting blew the fuck out right now.
Just barking
Yeah,
a
logic.
different dog. But look
So-
at this. Look at what this means. Like we're just gonna see reductio ad absurdum, and this is what you're probably trying to refer to.
So are you acknowledging
also
you're
known as
equivocating?
argumentum ad absurdum, apologetical arguments. Proof by contradiction is a form of argument that attempts to establish a claim by showing the following, or following the logic of a contrary position or an argument would lead to an absurdity, or.
Did he really just tell us this shit is true because he found it on Google?
Yeah, like this nigga's
Logic. I have a question for you. You would say that under the moral efficacy, you would say under the
We can
moral
go close this
efficacy of
nigga.
God, stealing is always wrong, right? Or would you deny
No,
that?
what the fuck?
You would
Why would I
deny
say
that?
Bro,
yeah, obviously.
do you guys have a defeat or we can go to closes? Like, you niggas wasting time.
Yeah, we can go to conclusions.
Yeah, we can go to close,
That's
nigga.
fine.
You
You guys could go first.
you
You
guys
guys
can
could
go
go first, so I
first.
have time for my victory speech. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'll go first. It seems like our opponents were a little confused. They brought up that abortion is wrong, prima facie, because it obstructs some sort of relationship with God. And the reason I say it like this instead of goodness is just because they define goodness as like a relationship with God. And so I tried running the overriding reasons because they said it's prima facie wrong. And then they said prima facie wrong doesn't matter to the argument. Which, okay, that's fine. That whatever. I'm not gonna hold them too much on that, right? They might have an actual argument, but when I actually press them on the actual argument, they wanted to run to other points, which just seemed really confused on what they were talking about. I think one of the first points is whether we try to get into how they were baking in normativity to the meta ethical view to try to define what goodness means and question begging, but they didn't want to engage with that, so they run away to this sort of semantical point, in which we're just not understanding the semantics of their argument, which was a little confused. And then they said wanted to bring up consistency, which I don't know why they wanted to do that. It seemed a little weird, but I don't know. I tried pressing this on this, right, and they said that consistency is what makes an argument or something morally good, right, and this is the most consistent way, and this is why we should follow it. I tried asking them whether we can create a perfectly consistent system using deontic logic, or how morals are formatted within logical structure, because you have to use these sorts of thoughts to define morals, just because that's what morals is. They said no, that I couldn't do that. And so it seems like they're saying that the semantics are going to create this syntactical error, which is just a little confused, right? A syntactical error is never going to involve the semantics of something. No.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead,
BT3.
BT3.
You could go next.
Don't be as retarded.
Yeah, so I guess wasn't much of a debate. We didn't really hit the substance. I feel like in closing, the opposing views argument was intentionally kind of vague. And then they said that goodness is intertwined with God's moral system, asked for the motivating reasons as to why that is. kind of just gave a non-answer and saying that it doesn't fall to absurdities, rather than giving any actual motivating reasons. Kind of just said this thing is better because it accounts for more things than the other, but didn't really give any examples of why that would be true, or why relying on like a religious framework of morality would account for more situations and lead to less absurdities than, say, consequentialism or utilitarianism.
All right,
So
Kylo, do you want to go
Oh,
or?
you got it. I can't go after that
Yeah.
retard.
Yeah, so, well, in closing, I'm gonna respond to whatever the fuck Dean said. He was like, yeah, syntactical errors with respect to semantics. I don't even know what the fuck that was. No one was even talking about that. He's the one who invoked that. I think they were utterly confused with the argument. I explained how God is good, or I explained how God is what I'm taking goodness to be, and how saying that, something else is God, or sorry, saying that God is not good, or something else is, a better account of goodness, I think is stupid as fuck. And then when he went ahead and said, well, what if there's this framework in which is consistent, where killing is okay. Now, it can be consistent. That's perfectly fucking fine. I know it can be consistent, but that's not what I'm taking reductio criterion to be. And I'd be happy to debate you on reductio criterion at a later date, but I think that to say that a reductio is just a logical contradiction, simpliciter, that's kind of stupid. I think when we're talking about reductios, we're talking about things that are either unintuitive to most people or against certain rights and wrongs, depending on if you're a realist or not. And look, I guess in closing, I think you guys kind of got blown the fuck out. I think there was a lot of tracking issues. Neither of you guys really knew what the fuck was going on. You guys were disagreeing with each other, and so yeah, I'm gonna just pass it over to Kylo.
Yeah, so just to be clear, these niggas were very lost during the discussion. So we laid out the arguments. The first half of the debates was simply them asking brain dead questions. We've answered every question given what we mean by terms and how the view works. Now, they attempted to levy critiques. I'll give them that they tried. I mean, Dean said there was contradictions. Now, he explicitly said there was a P not B, but could not derive it. That was like one critique they tried. Then they tried to do these other type critiques, which did not go through, just given that anybody with some ears could just hear it. Like I said, they were blundering. They were not tracking the point. BT3 keeps using this religious talk, just straw man in our view. We didn't use any religious talk, so that's more evidence in favor of these niggas not tracking what was happening.
Is
Dean,
God
can you shut the
not
fuck
part
up?
of
This is my
religion?
closing statement, retard. Are you fucking stupid? Don't interrupt me ever again.
Even in
so
your
one
closing, you're blundering.
second, 1 second. So let's get a mute on this nigga. Somebody mute this nigga. It's my closing statement. Notice how, look, point out their flaws and then they want to interrupt. Dean was strawmanning the view a plethora of times, just not understanding what logic means by reductio, things of that nature. So there was a lot of not tracking. Dean even said like multiple times he apologized for blundering, given he wasn't tracking what logic was saying. So I think the problem with this whole debate was these niggas were just not fully engaged, not equipped to properly critique the view. They didn't actually defeat any of the premises, nigga. They had no objections to the premises, and the ones they tried were debunked. So just given those minimal facts, that's evidence of us winning discussion, and that's all. GG's, nigga. Simple.